Hi, Maran.
Hi.
So we will be dealing with mostly of the B2B manufacturing companies. What do you think is the main challenge in hiring a sales team?
Manufacturing companies try to hire a lot of technical people in their teams, right?
Yes.
They say, oh, this guy has to know this engineering process, this technology to be selling my product. See, take sales in 2-3 levels. At the first level, you're getting a lead, right? Maybe the person should know 20%, 30% of the technical side of the business. Then there is a sales guy who goes into negotiation and all that. I don't think that good sales guy with good negotiation skills need to understand the engineering behind the product, right? I can sell any product confidently. I can say that even if it is rocket science, because sales is more emotional and psychological, right? Products do not sell. The salesman sells the product.
Yes.
So the sales guy need not be a highly technical guy with an engineering degree to sell a product. First, manufacturing companies should understand this.
Yes.
They do a mistake there, okay? They can have support teams, like a pre-sales team with an engineering understanding of the product or the service, post-sales team, whatever you call it. But the sales teams has to have the sales quotient a lot. They should have the fire in them. They should go to market, hitting customers on a day-to-day, talk to them, emotionally well, build relationship, and all that. So to build a good sales team, manufacturing companies should lower their guard of expecting too much technical knowledge from a person.
Right.
That would be my first advice. So don't go behind technical guys and for sales. Sales guys should be aggressive, driven, and they should be hitting the market, building relationship with the clients. These are the qualities of good sales guys. They don't need to even know the product a lot, or even zero product knowledge, people can really sell, is my belief.
For a business which is growing quickly, it believes that it needs a stronger process to follow up the execution. How do you think a company can build a better process without creating a bottlenecks between the team, vendors, etc.?
That's a good question. Yes. When you build a process, it will look complex. At what stage you are building process is very, very important. If you are, 1 to 5 years as a company, or if you are 1 to 5 crores as a company, right? Do you need a big process? Can you adopt a process that is adopted in 1,000 crore company? No. You need to have a small process, but you need a process. Every organization needs a process. A one-man company needs a process.
Yes.
So there's no question about it. But are companies complicating it? Yes. Companies are complicating processes. So if you look at us, right, in companies, what do? We don't take a framework and say, you have to follow this. We build a framework for that company. What process maturity they have, what kind of money they have, what kind of product they have, and how quick they can go to market with that product. So we actually make the process for the company.
Yeah.
Just because there is a process, you shouldn't adopt that process and say, oh, I'll follow this 7S, 5Ps, 4Ps. It may not suit your company because you could be too small for it or too large for it. So my answer to your question is, understand your company, implement a small process. If you don't have a process, evolve the process slowly, steadily, and make the process grow with the organization. Should an organization start without a process? No, not at all.
Yeah.
What is a process? A process is like this. I'll give you an example in sales marketing. The marketing team handing a lead over to sale, there should be a process to it. What process should they have? They should have at least send an email stating that this is the lead, this is the revenue of the company, this is the product they want, this is the specification, yada, yada, yada. So sending that as an email should be a process, not just sending a lead on WhatsApp and then forgetting it there. So you can adopt process, you should adopt process. Look at how big your company is, how big your team is, how matured your team is, and adopt the process.
I think building a process and evolving the process based on the team's adaptability will help in the execution.
Absolutely. See, you used a very, very good word called team adaptability. So you can buy 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore worth software. It does not mean that your people can use that actually.
yeah.
We see this problem in all the clients.
Yes.
So yes, team adaptability. Now you need to actually have a score for adaptability. So in our consulting, we do that.
Yes.
This person can adapt, this person cannot adapt. And we train them also to adapt. So that's a good word. Team adaptability is very important.
In many of the companies, we can see that founders' involvement is very high in the beginning. After a few months of the engagement, they will disappear. How do you think founders' involvement is important in the consulting, and also how they should be taking responsible in participating the engagement with marketing consulting?
Not just marketing consulting, even if they have their own marketing teams inside, the founders, where and how much they should involve. Most of the times, I advise founders not to be too involved in everything.
Yeah.
I want them to cut a balance between operations, sales, finance, marketing, and all the teams, right? So 20% for 5 teams is the best way of doing it. But sometimes they may not have a marketing team at all, and they will be starting their marketing team. At that point in time, they have to involve a lot inside their marketing. They have to be, if they are building from the foundational level, they have to be present almost in the first 1 month or 2 on all the calls, and then they can slowly reduce. Over a period of time, they should not forget and go to another thing, right? They shouldn't forget it. They should come at least for weekly reviews, and a monthly review is a must. And they should have founders dashboard, where a founder's KPI, they should not go into what happened here, what happened there, and micromanage.
Yes.
They should have a founder's dashboard. How much did we spend? How many leads came in? How many converted into quotation? It's a clear founder dashboard. I'm just giving you one example. You can have much more than that. In the beginning, if you're starting a marketing sales team from scratch, involve yourself, but gradually reduce it, make it weekly. At least weekly once is a must for any founder, I would say. And then after that, if you're having a vice president of sales, right? You're having a chief sales officer or a chief marketing officer, then you can make it only monthly and you can interact with them. That interaction is very, very important.
Lot of companies spend most of their time in the discussion, review calls, but they fail to see what is the execution done there.
Okay.
So how do you think a business should balance their meetings and involvement with the team?
Correct.
And get the execution done?
Very, very, very good question. This is $1 million question, I would say. I will give you an example. I was working with a company. 2 months later, the top boss of the company came and asked, give me a suggestion how to improve our company. I said we should stop spending a lot of time on these discussion rooms because in that company, half the day or even more than half the day, they sit and strategize a lot of things. See, my take on this is you need to have discussions. Definitely, you need to have strategy discussions, but you need to break the strategy into implementable tasks, right? Break the strategy into implementable tasks, take it and execute it. See what is the result coming out of it and go into the next strategy or next discussion. Without your first strategy working, getting it to work, don't go after strategy after strategy after strategy. And about meetings, I'll tell you, the meeting should be purposeful. In our company, what we do, we put a clear agenda. And where do we start? What happened in the last meeting? What did we execute? And then only we talk about anything new that we are talking. How do we complete the meeting? If nothing is implemented from the last meeting, we just stop by that. We don't talk about the new things. So meetings should be very purposeful, measured, and you should only talk about what was spoken in the previous meetings. Is it being executed or not?
Yes.
So that's the best way of doing it. So strategic discussions are important, right? And also, one more thing that just came to my mind. Don't talk about vision and goal in all the meetings. I see a lot of founders, I have a 1,000 crore vision. Every meeting you talk about your 1,000 crore vision is not going to help the team just get motivated and do it. You need to guide them. You need to train them towards the 1,000 crore goal, right? So it should be a balance like that.
I think we can take it as putting too much strategy without execution is harmful for the organization.
Absolutely. See, I would say 30% strategy and 70% execution, or Pareto principle. 20% strategy, 80% execution.
Many companies want to scale their marketing and sales and their growth in the company without having a proper team. So how do you think a business should approach a growth, either with a structure or process or people? How they should start approaching the growth? Okay, people, process, and structure. All these 3 things are important. But what comes first? Small team with a process,
then add the team. So take 2 people in your team, build the process, take the 3rd person. Don't take the 2 people and without the process add the 3rd person. And don't build a very complex process and start hiring. Take that person. So I'll give you an example. So you don't have a cold calling, telecalling team. You don't have it. You're taking the first person. What should come? Process or people. Bring that person, ask them to do 20-30 calls, take a free Zoho account and ask them to add it into it, right?
Yes.
Simple, easy. Second person. 2 people are doing this. 3rd person, before the 3rd person comes, build up solid process with what you learned from these 2 people. This is the right methodology. For mid-segment companies, right? They definitely have to have, mid-segment is, let's say, there is a 50 crore company, 70 crore company, 100 crore company, 100. I've seen companies 100, 150 crores without a proper structure. There are a lot of people in sales, few people in marketing, but there's still no structure. They're talking over WhatsApp, and I hate I hate suggesting companies to use WhatsApp to do conversations because everything is lost, right? In WhatsApp conversations. What is the alternative? You can use tools like Slack and all that. So my suggestion for mid-segment companies will be have a structure, have a process, definitely have a process, and then scale the people. If you have people already, and if you don't have the structure and process, I'll tell you, you cannot scale beyond what you are without a structure and a process.
Yes.
Right? In the process, I'll also add another point with what you said. People, structure, process, and tools. You should build a process on top of a tool, right? And the tool should drive the whole process. If you want me to give you an example, right? Today, we have built a lot of AI in our client places and all that. So daily reports are coming automatically at the end of the day from CRM to WhatsApp, and it is going to all the salespeople. We have built that already.
Yes.
A simple this thing. So the process should be driven by the tool that can be done. Back in the days, people have to fill all the forms. They always complain, sir, I'm in the field, I cannot do that. Today, that's not required. They just have to fill the minimum requirement into their CRM, minimum fields in the CRM. And at the end of the day, we can make AI to send the daily reports. So the fantastic question, structure, people, process, and tools.
Thank you, Maran. That was insightful.
Thank you.